You talked a little bit about the themes in your book, friendship being one. Um, uh, do you have any other messages? Because I know one of the things that stood out for me was the fact that some kids are reluctant to show how smart they are. They kind of hide it. And that's almost a cultural thing, I think. You don't show off, you don't boast about yourself and so on. So I think beyond friendship, there are a few other themes that I think were involved in the book. And so I would like to ask you about that and ask you, what is your message to the reader?
The other themes was, uh, as a student, yes, you're trying to figure out um, uh, how to, it's the smallest society that you can reach out to your friends in the class, your teachers in the class for guidance and things. So it is really one place that you learn to interact with the society and universe in a way, not the family and the other kinds of things, but trying to find out what you are, how comfortable you are. You are kind of trying to explore your minds. That's really the playing field, so to speak, that you're trying to learn the social skills, expand your intelligence and understanding of the world at large. So the one of the themes that I had wanted to highlight was that uh, you get friends, and you become close to them, and you yourself may be smart, but the academic, from Vicky's point of view, academic success was not really the top of his priorities. But by the um, the headmistress challenges him to say that you're good. The math teacher tries to motivate him to do better, but he's not able to succeed. You know, but the HM takes a different approach and says, here is you're doing this because you like challenges, and that's true in our world. We, even when we grow up and work, we do certain things, excel in certain things because we want to be that particular person, or complete that project, but we love the challenge of it. And so the challenge, if there is a challenge, you've been in the teaching world too. If there is a challenge in a student, then they are more motivated to do that than any other reason. So, but there is a moral dilemma for him. There are many moral dilemmas for Vicky in this coming of age story. But in that particular time, when he's contemplating whether he should excel than all the first benchers, there is a allusion. Actually, I was inspired by Bhagavad Gita itself. Arjun stands in the field and says, "Okay, how can I send an arrow and try to kill my own brothers, Kauravas, and my teacher? How can he do? How can I do that?" Uh, and Lord Krishna says that do your dharma, duty. So he has to come to terms with it, and then he reasons to himself, I shouldn't really worry too much about them. They will get eventually some competition as they grow up later and in the finals, and I should just be myself and do it, because I can. So there is, if is learning about things, but it is a little bit uncomfortable learning. He's not too happy with the outcome, or the efforts he's taking on, but that's part of the life. You are learning a little bit. As far as the theme itself, you read the book too, Geeta. He is trying to help the friend. He tries all different things. He tries to convince Sekhar's dad to change his approach, but fails. And he tries to get a scholarship. He doesn't succeed. He tries to borrow money from one of his friends' dad, and
Gundu's dad.
lose
Yeah.
that, and he gets a taste of logic, which
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
doesn't really feed the situation, hunger of the situation. But then he goes into a little bit of track, and then he steals the shoes and then the money.
Yeah.
So uh, growing up, and that was part of this cover also. I don't know if you can see it, the cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have the younger person and enlarging face, gradually becoming bigger and larger. And you see that when they are young, they are white, they are pure in their thought. But when they grow up, they're not entirely dark, in the sense they're, they're not dark Vaders or anything, other side of evil or anything, but they're somewhere gray. So it's part of growing up. And my message is really that each of us have to find out for ourselves and develop our own, so to speak, moral compass. And while we are doing that, when we experiment, we stumble a little bit, we course correct, but we never really go truly back to being pure white. And we are neither pure white or dark in the extreme. We are somewhere in between. So what is right and wrong as an individual for me may not be the same for you or someone else. There are different degrees. There is a lot of gray there. But it is important for us to develop our own moral compass rather than trying to just adopt without being convinced about it, that here are the rules of life,
Yeah, even with even but the fact that he has no father, so he has the mentorship of Aju, but I think he actually has a pretty strong moral compass, because I think the bravest thing that he does is give bakery uncle his money back and own up to the fact that he stole it. I think that gesture for me was very important, because that was the one gesture that showed courage and strength for him to be able to do that.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's part of my subtle message is also that nobody is perfect. Everybody is going to make mistakes. But how do you move forward from there? How do you correct yourself? So the dream that he has is right. There could be many interpretations of that dream, and what it means really.
Yeah.
But my way of choosing is that when he's doing things right, he is happy. But then when he goes slightly off the track, that's when he starts getting the dream. And there is a message in that, whether it is paranormal or whatever you think of it. There is a connection. There is some message that someone is trying to give it to him, with God or however you want to think of it. But he has to realize that, and then that's one of the reasons why Jaya is in coma for so long. It is a test for him to pass his own, realize his own mistakes, make amends for it, and only when he makes those amends, he gets better.
Yeah.
So it is it's really maybe too much masala movies. But it is in a way very true, in the sense, when somebody who is close to us is not doing well and things like that, we pray, we say, why is that person is having so much, give me some of that trouble to me, I will have it, give them a chance. We pray to God, and things. But here, that was not enough. He had to make amends. He has to realize
Yeah.
what he did wrong, and he had to make
Yeah.
amends and show his, you know,
And, yeah, and his willingness to do that. I mean, he goes and works for Dr. Reddy. He to make up for having taken his shoes, which he
right,
returns, but he still feels like he needs to do something to make up for that. So
right.
yeah, so that yeah,
That's one of the reasons why I introduced that Vikramaditya. Vikramaditya, growing up, all these Amar Chitrakatha tales of these stories, they always remain in your mind. To us, Vikramaditya is the greatest king, that he can never do wrong and all. That's only part of fiction or whatever. The way that I adapted it was knowing that you can always be able to rise to the occasion and do the things right. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are always doing the right things. It means that when you go wrong, then how do you correct it and do
yeah.
the right things
Hmm.
afterwards?
Hmm.
So